definitely been a motivation and a confidence booster. I know that at the beginning of the season, I wasn't starting off too well, but just the coaches noticed it as well, and they were just telling me just to play my game, to have fun, and just enjoy the journey. Don't think about anything. Just play your regular game, and then everything will work itself out. And then Coach Jones tells me everything comes back full circle. So I just trust the process, kept working out, and then now I'm starting to see the results from it. But I'm still taking it one game at a time. I'm not going to dwell on one game. I enjoy the victory. 24 hours later, we're on to the next game. So it feels good to be productive again. But it also, I know that it's a long season ahead. So the productivity has to continue.
Was your phone going nuts after the game about the dunk?
Yeah. I didn't get too much time to look at the phone just yet. I heard it kind of going off when I turned it back on before I got in the shower. But I just was enjoying the victory with the guys. I was just enjoying just being on the road, playing one of the top teams in the ACC, and being able to come to their court and get the win. So the dunk was amazing. But there's a whole bunch of other plays that happened. Ray had a dunk. Balsha was looking like Jokic out there, and MJ was looking like Stockton out there. So it was a lot to be happy about. My dunk was just one part of this one aspect of the success we had today, but there was many other aspects that the guys stepped up and contributed to.
Malik, did it take you a few games to get used to this role? you started, I think, all of the games last year, and coming off the bench is a different feel.
Yeah.
Did you struggle with that at all, like emotionally or mentally, or was it just a matter of you not hitting shots?
I knew that honestly last year, even though I was starting at the beginning of the season, I was expecting to come off the bench. But the fact that I was able to start was still just like, it was all about productivity. So it really was just me not really hitting shots. The coaches tell me all the time that when my sit out year, I saw Fee come off the bench. Last year, I saw Pat come off the bench. So I know that whether you start, whether you come off the bench, doesn't make a difference. It's all about the productivity. And the shots just weren't falling. But like I said, I just stayed with it. Coaches stayed with me. They kept motivating me, kept telling me, reminding me of the player that I was last year, that I was a key part of this team, and that my productivity was essential in our success going forward. And I believed in them, and they believed in me. And so this is pretty much, coming off the bench doesn't make any difference. The theme right now is just productivity, just being as productive as possible, whether you're starting or coming off the bench.
And you guys, you won 2 games last week and killed NC State, but you weren't playing that well defensively as a collective, I don't think. Was this more like what you guys want to do? Especially in the first 15 minutes, they had a hard time doing anything against you guys.
Yes. The first 15 minutes, the junkyard dog defense came alive. That shows the potential of who we are and what we can be. And honestly, even though we were playing really good defensively the first 15 minutes, it's crazy to say, but there's still more room for improvement. There still could be more communication. There still could be guys in help. There still could be guys trying to make better reads on offensive players when they're making moves. So yes, the first 15 minutes is a glimpse of how good our defense could be, but there's definitely still more room for improvement. But that is what Florida State defense can be. That is what our junkyard dog defense really is.
3 wins in a span of 6 days obviously is tough, and 2 of them, I guess, by a pretty wide margin. I guess, what did you learn about this team over the last 3 games since kind of returning?
I learned that this team is resilient and they're here to learn. I was just having the young guys. We have a lot of returners. We have a lot of experienced veterans on this team, but we also know that the younger guys are a key part of our success. Sadar, Scotty, Quincy, they are all essential parts in us being successful. So we know that when we get them going, when we pull them together, that's the team we can be. But more importantly, they sat there and they listened. They asked questions. One day turnarounds, they're not used to that. They sat after practice. They asked Coach Jones questions. They asked Coach Ham questions. I see that this team was becoming more cerebral, more mental. They were locked in more mentally, which is what was the key. Physically, I believe we can compete with anybody in the country. And now I learned that this team is a young team that loves to learn. And I feel like the more we learn, the better we can be. And I honestly think that this team has no ceiling. I feel like this team can compete with anybody. And if we keep with the mental aspect, I don't see anybody who can really take us on.
I know it's only been a couple weeks since you played them, but getting the chance to go against Clemson this weekend, kind of with how that game went, with how you've looked recently, are you all kind of anxious for that?
Oh man, we have them circled on our calendar. We know that the team that we first were when we played them is not the same team that we are now. Even though it's been a span of a couple weeks, there's been major improvements, not just in the mental focus, but just in the physical focus, being quicker to our spots, being quicker on our rotations, being quicker on our cuts on offense. We are not the same team that we were a couple weeks ago, and that's what we're going to prove coming up when we play Clemson again.
Take a last question from Malik, please.
Yeah, Malik, I asked MJ this earlier in the week about just patience and knowing that college basketball is a marathon and not a sprint.
Mm-hmm.
You were a part of the program, I believe, the year that they beat Xavier and went to Sweet 16. But how much have you guys just spoken about staying the course and making sure that you're getting a little bit better each game so that you guys can hit your stride when it counts the most and have that complete basketball team?
That has been the constant message. That has been the constant message. Even at the beginning of the season, we stressed to the younger players that it is a long season. It is going to be a long season. So we don't have time to dwell on performance, to dwell on a game, just to do it, not even dwell on anything. Even if we make a quick mistake, it's a 6-second recovery because it's a long game. The 40 minutes sometimes feel like forever, and it's a long season with having games coming back to back to back. So even if they felt like they didn't have a good game, the next game is coming up and they can redeem themselves. And so that's what we've been telling them to stay the course, that nothing lasts forever, that this is not going to happen overnight, that we have to stay the course, that we have to constantly be consistent. To be a successful team, we have to constantly have success. And that is what we've been drilling to the younger guys, and even just to some of our returning guys that are stepping into bigger roles, that the success will come. It will come in due time. Everything comes back full circle, and that there's plenty of basketball still left to be played even at this point.
Thank you, everybody.